What's up? My name's Zach. Welcome to my YouTube. We're going to install some SLR Drift Spec Coilovers on my Seat Time E36 today. And I'm going to give you some information on these coilovers and a straight to the point installation guide. So let's stop babbling and get straight to it. Here they are. These are my SLR Drift Spec Coilovers. As you might have seen, SLR is now producing a pretty large line of coilovers for many different cars. So if you're looking for a suspension upgrade, these are going to be a good choice. And this set specifically, this is a 10K front, 9K rear spring. We have our shock here with adjustable droop on the bottom half of the shock. You can thread this with a locking collar and whatnot and get your desired droop in the rear. And then you have your ride height adjustment here on the spring, because this is still the divorce setup. And we also have a nice thick spring right here on the front of the shock. 32-way adjustable rebounded compression, nitrogen-filled gas shocks. So they're fade resistant and they're consistent under very extreme circumstances. We also have progressive bump stops as well. These things should be pretty dialed for track and street use. Obviously with that 32-way adjustability, you can acquire whatever taste you want for both of those things. We're gonna put these on the car, do a little bit of driving. I'll be probably testing them on the track here really soon. We'll do some street driving as well, because I do daily my E36 quite a bit. Comes with a bunch of nice components as well, such as these wrenches for the locking collars. You have your adjustment knobs for the top of the shocks for your dampening and all that. Some threaded inserts here to put into your nice beautiful billet top hat, and some really good looking nice bolts as well. Very aesthetic, very strong, really nice build quality. I really like this. Can't wait to put it on. All right, so this is how I'm going to go about this on my car. You can put it up on all four jack stands if you want. I'm just going to bring the front up and leave the rear down for now, so that when I put the new coilovers on, I can set everything kind of where I want it, especially with ride height and that. Bring the front back down on its wheels and that with weight on it. Then we're going to jack the front up and leave the front down on the ground so that the springs can kind of settle in with weight on the car while we work on the rear, because these are new coilovers. Break in those springs a little bit before you go for your alignment. It will fluctuate as you break those coilovers and stuff in a little bit. Just going to do it that way to make sure that our readings are a little more accurate in the end before we do our alignment tonight. All right, so once you have the car in the air and you have the wheel off, you'll be able to access everything back here. The first thing you're going to do, and you're going to take this brake line right here and you're going to slide it out of the slot on the back of the shock right here. Then you have three 18mm bolts back here. This one has a nut on the other side, and you have two down here in this slot you can just zap out. Got my little helper here. He's going to be holding the bottom of this so that this all doesn't drop once we get all that loose. I'm going to get these two down here first, and then I'm going to zap that one up top. This will hold up all this suspension assembly right here. Then up here we have three 13mm bolts that we can just zap off real quick while we hold the coilover and just pull it straight out. Yeah, that's it. That's all you got to do. And it's the same thing going back in. Go ahead and get these bottom ones in when you're putting the new coilover on. Finish the top ones last. Quick thing to note is once you get these three bolts off, you're gonna have full swivel movement over the knuckle here, so just be careful it doesn't fall out on you like this. You'll just need something to hold it here, or have someone hold it for you, because the last thing you want to do is rip a brake line or have any more issues. You get this free down here and everything's good to go. The last thing holding it on up here are these three bolts. Zap those out. Once you get these loose, it's going to drop, so make sure you have a hand down there. You can usually get your arm under the fender here while you're zapping up top here, and once these are out, you can just drop it down. So just be ready for that, and then coilover will come right out. So before we throw these front ones on, one thing you always want to check anytime you ever put coilovers on is just make sure everything's even for the most part. Preload's already set from factory with SLR. Most coilovers do, so you shouldn't have to touch this preload at all unless you are changing out the spring and or you just want to change it. I recommend leaving it alone if there's no need to do it right out of the box. It's the factory spec, so just try it how it is at first. Good thing to do is just put them side by side and double check. These are even, these are perfect. Your ride height adjustment right here, which is this entire piece that threads and twists, they're sometimes going to be different, so that's okay. You can leave those until you get them on the car and want to do your adjustment. Just make sure these are good, which as SLR always does, fine work. It is perfect and good to go. I'll explain a little bit of how this works. You're going to get these little threaded inserts here that are going to come in your package with some nuts and some washers. So you're going to thread these into these multiple different positions. Choose whichever setup you like. This nut's going to thread onto those. When you get it in the car, you can kind of put the nut on like this and then put the wrench on. Grab a Allen. Put the Allen right here. You can hold this Allen right here while you're cranking, and then that way you can kind of sandwich these threads nice and tight, and that insert will stay in there and should not come out. Now, obviously, when you put this nut on the top, you're going to put this washer right under that nut. To make your life a little bit easier, I took this top hat off of this coilover right here. I left it on the other one for the front, and I went ahead and positioned my threads where I'd want it in the top hat. So I don't need caster in my top hat because I have the SLR Lollipop. So I want this top hat to be facing straight out horizontal, like it's aimed right at you right off the side of the car. So obviously these different positions can give you different sequences of caster and camber mixed together if you need it. We'll just be using this as camber. I went ahead and threaded it in the position that I like. Nice and easy. without having to like hold the entire coilover with one arm. This is just an easy way to see, okay, that's how I want it. So then I take this out. Just got to put these 4 little Allen bolts back on. We are dialed. Then they can go on the car. So this is how I ended up getting the top secure, how I wanted. You can double check to make sure that insert's nice and tight. If you just put this in, try to move it, it ain't going nowhere, ain't gonna budge. Same thing here with this nut. You can just grab it, give it a good yank, and it's good to go. When I was tightening it all down, I kind of got the threads where I wanted it by looking on the bottom side here. Didn't want too little, and you can only have so much, so you want it to be pretty much even for the most part so that there's good leverage and coverage on most of this top hat. You don't want a little bit of thread in the top hat and a lot of thread up top here. You want it to be nice and even. That's kind of where I got it on the bolts. It's same across all 3, and then yeah, just went like this with the wrench and that and just cranked it down and you were good to go. Coilover is bolted up. These 3 bolts are nice and tight. I'm going to clean off that mark and remark them. I suggest doing that so you can keep an easy track on what comes loose. Went ahead and recorded a measurement off of my old coilovers here, just like kind of a guesstimate of where to start at with ride height. I went ahead and just extended this out to what I think would be a good starting point, matched it to the other coilover before I put it on the car. Go from there once I get it on the ground and get an eyeball and start measuring. So this coilover is good to go. Make sure you lock these locking collars and stuff once you get done adjusting all your ride heights and everything using the provided wrenches. You even have a little ratchet slot in the bottom just in case you ever want to get it nice and snug, or if it's ever a challenge to get it loose. You get to the rear end here, you're going to want to take out the shock first, and this is going to allow you to get enough leverage on this arm here to get the spring out. You want to get a jack, a little helper, something to get up under the hub here or the spacer. Ignore how big this is. You gotta do what you gotta do. Have that to support the suspension sag so that when you undo the shock, it doesn't fall. Because you're gonna have to undo the shock to get the spring out. So this is your first place you're gonna start at back here. The best thing to do is go ahead and hit these 2 13 mils up here at the top of the shock tower. What you'll be able to do is just zap this single 18 out of the knuckle right here that's holding the bottom of the shock in. Zap that out. While you're holding the shock, just pull the shock straight out. Once the shock is out, you can just lower this jack a little bit. It'll give you enough opening to just pull the spring out here and then put your new one in. The same process but reversed going back in. I would go ahead and recommend putting 1 bolt in down here, jacking up the suspension until these holes pass up into the shock tower. Put the bolts on the threads there. All right, so this is the final state that the car is sitting in for now, ride height wise. Sits just right. It's not too low, but it's still functional. Our local track is pretty rough for the most part, lots of big bumps, elevation change, stuff like that. So I still run 18s in the front as well, so I got to have that clearance, so I can't go super low up front. Go do 17 soon, but it's about as low as I can get it for now. And I still rub just a little bit up in there just because of the caster and everything else going on with the crazy angle kit up front. It's the SLR Ultra kit. It's amazing, phenomenal. It rides great. I'm running 5 clicks up from soft in the front, 13 clicks up from soft in the rear. That's just for my driving preferences right now, just daily driving and cruising around. Drifting, I like it up and around 16 to 18 range up front. I haven't really ventured up into the 20s yet. And I haven't done too much crazy driving with it yet, just some little testing and some closed course spots that we have. It feels great. I'm a big fan of it. These coilovers ride better than any coilover I felt on the street, and I'm being dead honest when I say that. It's phenomenal. I've ridden quite a few cars with quite a few different coilovers, driven some, but these blow my BCs out of the water that I had on here. I mean, these are phenomenal. The valving and everything that they took the time to set up the way they did, it shows. It's phenomenal. These nitrogen filled gas shock, absolutely great. Consistent, there's no fade, nothing weird. It is just on point at all times. The best way I can describe it is a lot of coilovers are chattery. They're very sharp with the inputs and the information you're getting from the road. These give you the same amount of information but more, but it's more linear, not sharp. It's not discomforting. It's not chattery. It's nice, controlled, smooth, and I like that a lot. Yeah, we're gonna do some driving, some little bit of testing, nothing crazy, just some low RPM, little skids, just to feel the car out and feel the changes. And I did take caster out whenever I did this setup and that, compared to what I had before. And then yeah, we're gonna get to the track soon. I gotta pull the engine out this weekend and do a couple small things, nothing serious, just to reseal some things. Gonna do a clutch, do a couple different things, gotta reseal the oil pan and stuff like that. So we got a livery coming soon with my boy Hayden. And yeah, we're gonna have this thing at the track ripping soon. I'm gonna try to get you guys some footage of the suspension in action. We're gonna talk about some different settings I'm gonna try there, and this and that, all that stuff. So once we get there, we'll start chatting up some different settings and stuff that I like to run at this track particularly, and the aspects that this track brings to the table. Looks great, drives great, functions great. SLR Ultra kit up front, SLR Drift Spec Coilovers with the V2 top hats. Absolutely phenomenal combo, whether you're daily driving, spirited driving, or on track. This will do it all. I love it. It's great. huge thank you to SLR. These guys have shown me support in my drifting journey so far. These guys have reached out and give a really helping hand to what I'm doing and what I'm trying to achieve, and I'm extremely grateful and thank you for that. Thank you to SLR, thank you to NRG, Prisma Lab, those guys for keeping me safe with my seat and harnesses and all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys a lot. Circuit performance with the wheels, everything is dialed. Love it.